Hey Guardians, what's up? It is Ebontis here for your weekly reset information for December 27th. Christmas is over, hope you guys all had a wonderful one, and New Year's is around the corner. So let's jump into this one for our last week of the Dawning. First things first, we have the Nightfall strike, of course, and this is going to be the Will of Crota. And modifiers we've got are Void Burn, so I think it's 2 times damage from you, and we don't quite know, but somewhere between 2 and 3 times damage from enemies. Not quite as bad as it used to be, at least. Also have Juggler, so watch those ammo types and keep switching up those weapons so you can keep getting different ammo. Catapult, lots of grenades are going to be flying, and this actually should be okay, so you can keep chunking those grenades at the boss. And then finally, of course, Exposure is going to be the bane of your existence. Exposure is the one where you get the really big shield, but once you lose it, it's gone. It's actually maybe a good week for Red Death, because as you kill enemies with your primary weapon, since there's no Void primary, you can at least use that one and continue to get at least a little chunk of health back as you kill some enemies. It's a slower but stronger pulse rifle, so it's not a bad option actually. And then if you take Void into the rest, then at least you'll be able to do some decent damage. So grab a Void sniper, grab something like Truth, lots of rockets and tracking, so can't really go wrong with Truth on this one. And then probably just a decent Void sniper and you should be in pretty good shape. For the Heroic Strike playlist, modifiers we've got this week are going to be Solar Burn. So Hunters, you guys can have some fun with those golden guns, Sunbreakers, hammers, and Warlocks, unfortunately a little less fun with those grenades. But Gallahorn is going to be used aplenty on this one, so shouldn't be too bad of a week if you need to burn through some Siva Crisis Heroics. Work on your strike scoring, good week to work on that book. Just have Gallahorn equipped the whole time, you should be good to go. Also, you've got Brawler, so if anything gets up close, punch it to death. And then finally, of course, if you do have to deal with some of these enemies, we're going to be dealing with Ironclad, and that's just more enemies have shields. So it's not the one where you have to match them at least, but more enemies having shields. Some stuff is going to take a little bit longer, so keep that in mind as well. The daily story mission is Last Rites. Using the stealth code, travel deep into the heart of the Hellmouth and slip away with a sliver of Crota soul. This is where you go back through the Crota's End raid for part of it as a stealth person. Dodge pretty much all the auras, basically, or what the smells are that they can, all the enemies can look for you, those little red auras around them. Pretty much run through most of the raid and get to the end and steal that sliver of Crota soul. So, not too shabby, fun little mission, kind of unique from most of them, so enjoy it and have some fun, get some marks. Tyra Karn has some artifact options this week as always. First one we've got is the Memory of Timer. This is a full strength roll. Melee attacks on minions of the darkness have a chance to temporarily turn their target against its allies. So, stab a target, occasionally you get a chance for that enemy to fight on your side for about 30 seconds. If you're done in that room and you need to basically turn them into an enemy to shoot, you can go ahead and stab them again, flip them back over, and kill them off. So, occasionally good to have fun with this one if you want to. Probably not the best roll on it from what I can tell this week, though. Second artifact is the Memory of Radagast. Gain the ability to reflect energy-based projectiles when guarding with a sword. Increased sword ammo capacity. Now, this is a discipline strength roll, maybe not the perfect roll on the stats, but this is the one where you can have some fun basically using your sword as a lightsaber. Any energy-based weapon, so not bullets from, say, a primary weapon, but something along the lines of like fusion rifles. Some of those will reflect back. Lots of supers, other weapons and things like that. So energy-based weapons, basically anything that's not going to be like a bullet, is going to be reflected back, and rockets as well. So I do think those reflect back, or at least you can take a good chunk of the damage. Either way, fun to use, joyful, have a good times. Third artifact this week is a full discipline roll on the Memory of Gellion. Grants a detailed radar. Radar persists when sighting with primary weapons. So you get 2 things. Basically, you get the detailed radar that the hunter has, the 8-segment radar when you're using that, that perk. Then you've also got radar persists when sighting with primary weapons, just like Meta Multi-Tool. So you get that basically always up radar when you're using a primary. If you're trying to hold down an area, you can scope down that area. Still watch your radar. It's a beneficial one for PvP. If you don't have this one, not a terrible roll. Full discipline, it could be worse, of course. And then in the grand scheme of things, just a good one to have for general scoping, radar awareness. Not a bad thing overall. As for the Vanguard Scout this week, Senor Shiro 4, we've got bounties for him. First one, pull the plug, kill fallen majors and ultras. Pretty much just get this one. You're bound to kill fallen majors at some point during your week or 2. So easy one to knock out, not very difficult to go after. So pick this one up for sure. Then we've got the Archon's Forge work. Archon's Forge Dregs. You've got 4 victories against Dregs. Archon's Forge Captains, and then Archon's Forge Servitors. So you've got your 3 groups of enemies that you need to, get an offering, spawn them, and finish off that Archon's Forge encounter. They did change it to where the Archon's Forge offerings drop more frequently related to what you have as bounties. So hopefully if you go in there and you're running through with people, you're bound to get things, at least for you, if you offer one up, they're likely to be ones that help you out to finish your bounties. So a little easier to finish these off. Still, Archon's Forge, good place to get ghosts, good place to get artifacts. Quite a few things in there still beneficial, so jump on Archon's Forge, knock out these bounties, and of course, if you don't have Thorn, this is still the way to get it. Your bounties this week are as follows. Strike Elite, earn gold tier, silver tier, or bronze tier achieved medals. On strikes, pretty much if you go into strikes, you can get a gold tier, silver tier, and bronze tier achieved. Potentially on each strike that you run. So go in there, spend some time in the strike playlist, you'll knock this one out. Secondly, you've got Sunrise again. This is your way to get the Icebreaker to drop. So far, I am 0 for 6, which sucks, but we'll find out and see if I get any better luck. Earn a gold tier achieved in the Nightfall before time expires. You've got 30 minutes, just have to be aggressive and push through. As long as you don't die and the timer resets and things like that, it should be pretty manageable. And with Void Burn on the Will of Crota, should be pretty reasonable, I think, this week. Finally, you've got Simply Perfect. Complete Siva Crisis Strikes without any member of your fire team dying to earn flawless medals. So, options on this one are basically going to be try and do this one with people you know and play smart. There's no timer on this one, but if you're going to go for a flawless medal, you got to play it safe. So keep this one in mind, and if you're doing Crisis Strikes, I probably wouldn't try and get a flawless medal on something along the lines of the Shield Brothers on Solar Burn. That one's pretty lethal. So pick your battles if you're going for flawless and try strikes that quite aren't as solar heavy on death coming to you, because those are going to be difficult for random people to stay alive. Keep that one in mind, and hopefully this one isn't too bad. The daily Crucible mode is Rift. Pick up that spark, run it to the enemy Rift. Try and come in here with a couple other people, maybe make this a little better. If you come in here by yourself and you're playing against a full team of 6, it can be pretty rough. So if you find a team or some people on LFG just to try and practice this one, usually going to be a little better off as a team. Jump in here, get your 15 legendary marks for the day, and then move on. As for your weekly Crucible modes, you've got Inferno Supremacy. So work on that Supremacy weekly bounty with Inferno. You're going to have no trackers, basically less ammo spawns, things like that. Just more of a hardcore version. Still come in here, get your Radiant Treasure Box, and of course 10 legendary marks for your first 3 matches, if you didn't get them from Sparrow Racing, of course. But honestly, Inferno Supremacy could be an interesting mode. Have a little fun, practice up. Inferno is definitely a way to sharpen your skills. On the other side, we've got Salvage. Now this is one, race the other team to capture and hold relics. Hold them for a little while, keep the other team away from them, so you've got to basically defend points. And it's 3v3 only, so definitely a fun little 3v3 team objective game. Come in here, especially if you're working on Grimoire as well. It's not always an option, so make sure and knock that one out. The Shaxx weekly bounty is a Hunt for Glory. This is the Supremacy match type. 7 match completions, 50 primary kills, 30 kill credits, and 20 crests denied. Not too shabby. Takes a little while in Supremacy to get probably the crest denied and the kill credits. Just make sure you're looking for those pickups and try and get them as frequently as possible. And main thing here is, of course, it's nice. You get Nightfall tier rewards, so not too shabby on your options. So pick this one up. Decent chance it drops, and enjoy and see what happens. This is the last week for SRL, at least in the grand scheme of public events. Private matches are still going to be available, but public full events that are going to be SRL, this is your last week. Bounties for Amanda Holiday. Still got the complete 10 SRL bounties. This one does take a couple days to knock out because you can only get 3 of these a day. Then you've got Sparrow Racing, Wear the Shiny Off. Complete a race without your Sparrow being destroyed. Just don't die. Not too shabby. Hit 15 consecutive gates. That one's not too shabby either on Threading the Needle. And then finally, Speedster. Complete a lap in less than 2 minutes. Honestly, most of the races can be completed closer to 1:30, so as long as you're not just totally failing on a map, or if you do want to do something like this and complete a map less than 2 minutes, but you're having struggles trying to, keep up with everybody and issues with dying like that, wait a minute. You don't have to be the first one. And if you don't care about being 6th place, go through it with the wider gates and you have a better chance of continually hitting those gates and getting a faster time. So keep that one in mind if you're having struggles with that one. Finally, for the raid, we have the Vosik challenge. This is going to be the one where you have to close 2 of the rooms on the first round of doing damage with the Siva balls that drop during his damage phase. So you'll have the balls drop throughout the fight. You have to throw those at him to continue to get him to drop. But when you finally actually get to the part where you're doing damage, you'll have bombs that drop throughout. Normally you could throw those for damage. You need to make sure 2 people pick those up, and those are what are used to close the doors for the rooms. 2 on the first round, 2 on the second round, and then on the third round is when you need to kill him. So 2 doors, and then of course finally kill the boss. So pretty straightforward. This one shouldn't be too bad. I think people by now have this one pretty well figured out. So jump in a group shouldn't be too difficult. That pretty much wraps it up for me, guys, though. Thank you for tuning in, as always. Should be a reasonable week. I will get the Nightfall video up after this goes posted. Voidburn on Will of Crota shouldn't be too bad. Of course, if you guys did enjoy the video, drop a like down below. Check out the main channel page, subscribe there, and I will keep the content coming your way. Have a happy new year if I don't talk to you outside of this video. Should be a fun week. Last week of the Dawning. Finish up your books and the Sparrow Racing. Have some fun and enjoy it, guys. Talk to you soon. I will keep some more content coming your way this week because I am back in town for good for a while. So, see you soon. Talk to you later.